Hello everyone, a quick YouTube video on the Straight Talk Samsung Galaxy Centura. It's an entry-level phone, $99 at Walmart right now, and a couple of its features that it boasts are the Android 4.0. As you might know, a lot of the Android phones on Straight Talk up until recently have been the older versions of Android. So this one has 4.0, and then of course the price point is its other big feature, being just $100 with no contract. So as you might know from watching some of my other YouTube videos, I am a big fan of Straight Talk, mostly just because of the value that I think it provides. The $45 a month plan includes unlimited talk, text, and data. Well, kind of unlimited, right? Straight Talk recently came clean this year and disclosed their policy on their unlimited data. There are limits. If you stay under 2.5, you get the data at normal 3G speeds. But if you go over 2.5 gig, they will throttle you down. So you'll want to be mindful of that, and you definitely will not want to do any tethering or any other kind of internet sharing. They do have some of that stuff blocked, but if you do some tethering and stuff, I've seen lots of stories online about people getting their accounts terminated and losing the balance of their service that they had paid for and so on, because they had violated the terms of the agreement. So stay away from that. Keep your usage down. Of course, Wi-Fi. If you've got Wi-Fi access, that doesn't count towards your limit. So you'll want to make sure you're using Wi-Fi whenever you can and whenever it's practical and so on. So a few things about this phone. It is a 3.5-inch display, Android 4.0, like I said. It is only an 800 megahertz processor. So it is an entry-level phone, and that is a little bit of a limiting factor, even though when I'm jumping around between applications, it seems to be fairly zippy, but that is going to be a factor. 3G, we're not talking about 4G here speeds. We're still operating with the 3G, so you'll want to keep that in mind. You get what you pay for if you're one of those people that need the newest and the greatest, and then maybe you need to pay twice as much and go with Verizon contract or so on. But again, it's all about the value. On a 3-megapixel camera. Camera isn't anything special. There's only a rear-facing, no front-facing camera, and there is no flash of any kind associated with this camera. So nothing real special there. This particular phone does use the Verizon network. That's one of its big features that attracts me. I live in Michigan, and it just seems like Verizon phones just seem to have the very best coverage. Sprint has really good coverage where I live and work, but when I travel beyond there, the coverage isn't quite as good. And keep in mind with prepaid phones, you don't get to roam. So you might have had Sprint or another carrier and been real happy with their coverage, but the minute you go to a prepaid phone, you lose that capability to roam to other networks. I used to have a Sprint contract phone a few years ago, and it did roam a lot. And of course, if I had a Straight Talk Sprint no contract phone, I wouldn't expect to get service in those places. So just keep that in mind when you're researching what phone you want. The network is a really big part of that. So you want to keep that in mind. And it can be difficult sometimes to tell. A lot of the Straight Talk phones do make it easy, though. If you look in the lower left corner of the box, I see a CDMA V, and that of course indicates Verizon. A would be AT&T, T would be T-Mobile, and S would be Sprint. So watch for that. I think a lot of the Straight Talk Android phones are actually on the Sprint network. So that's one feature that makes this one a little bit unique and sought after, at least by me. So you'll have to figure out what works for you in your area and so on. So a few things about the phone. The screen is a plastic screen. It's much like the Proclaim. I was actually pretty pleased with the clarity and the sensitivity of this screen. It seems to be pretty easy to type on if you're used to that. Pretty durable too. Assuming it's the same plastic as the Proclaim, which it feels like, it was held up to quite a bit. So one of the first things you might notice as you look at this phone is it really doesn't have the look of the ice cream sandwich. It doesn't have the look of the Android 4.0. And I think that's because Samsung may have scaled back the interface just a little bit, and that might have been influenced by its processor. It is only an 800 megahertz processor, and again, you'll want to keep that in mind with your expectations. The battery life is probably one of the biggest disadvantages to this phone. I've been using it, and the battery life is very similar to the Proclaim, which wasn't good. I was very pleased with my Proclaim, but one of the things that I did do was purchase the extended battery, which of course made my phone a lot thicker and a little bit heavier, but I haven't seen extended batteries available for this phone yet. So I don't know if they'll be available or not, but definitely something to keep in mind if that's important to you. If you use your phone a lot, you will probably be needing to charge it throughout the day. So, and some people that might be an option, and some people maybe not. So keep that in mind. For casual use, if you're really just using this as a phone and occasionally checking an email or doing some routing or running an app of some sort, you'll probably be just fine. But if you are using it a lot for email and other things, you will be running the battery down, and I doubt you'll be making it through the day. So overall, I think it's a heck of a value. I'd highly recommend it to somebody that's looking for an entry-level Android and looking for a good value. I hope this video was helpful, and thanks for watching.